Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial. In this one, we're gonna learn how to create a blob like the ones in Fringe. It's not exactly like that, but it's similar. Now, before we start it, I would like to show this website called A-Tuts and show where I got the inspiration from the tutorial. I was reading through this article or tutorial called Create a Breathtakingly Awesome Rain Scene, Day 1. And when I was reading the tutorial, I noticed the step to create the raindrop was really interesting and reminded me of the Fringe molecule. So I decided, why can't we just modify it a little bit so it looks a little bit more like the Fringe molecule. And this is a half resolution preview, but let's take a look. Okay, so that's it. The clip is from our new album Patterns of a Subliminal Train of Thought, which is coming up this month. It has some really cool scores, audio, but I'm not here to advertise, I'm here to make the tutorial. So let's get started. I'll just create a new composition and I'll just create NTSC widescreen. And okay, let's start creating our new solid. And we'll apply form to this solid. So I'll just go to Effect, Trapcode, Form. And that's what we have it. I'll also create a new camera. Okay. I'll just go ahead and put full res so we can take a look at things better. So now in the form layer, well, we have our Trapcode form, our 3 layers. And the first thing is I'm going to base form and change from box grid to sphere layered. And now you have 3 layers of your sphere. And I'll just go to the sphere layers here and set it to 1. So now I only have 1 sphere instead of 3. Okay, now I also want to increase the particles in X and the particles in Y, especially in Y. We can change that later, but I want it to be like really white. Okay, now we're going to fractal field, and in the displays option, we'll choose something like 60, and flow X 10, flow Y 8, flow Z 2, and that'll create a random movement like this one. And let's just take a look to see if it's either too much or maybe we should add more. Let's see. It looks okay. Now, when we set the displace amount, you can just leave to 60 and set all those to 0, and it will still displace. But here you can specify if you want it to be displacing more horizontally or vertically. So I think if we leave to 0, it'll kind of be more natural, more normal, maybe. Now in the base form, I do want to increase the number of particles so it looks more white. Maybe not that much, but let's see. And now in the particles, I'll just set it to, well, first set the opacity to 30. And you can see, we already have the contrast we want. I'll just set 20 to see. And now it looks better. And if you change the color to like a greenish blue, you see, it is kind of cool. Now, I'm not really happy with the fractal field, so I think we should displace less. Just display a little bit. And maybe it looks more natural that way. Maybe in the effect size we could change to 10. Just testing. No, didn't work. Maybe 1. Just a little bit. Well, okay, that might be the first part of it. Let's just say blob main. And now I'll duplicate it and we'll say layer, whatever. And we'll add my favorite effect, or one of the favorite ones. CC vector blur. I think in almost all my tutorials I use this plugin. And we'll set it just so it creates this cool layer which will look like the reflection from the blob. And yeah, now we have those things which look reflective and they look cool. And let's do a ramp preview with half red. Well, I don't want to render too much, but you can see it's kind of cool, slow movement. Another thing I will do to make kind of similar like Fringe is to create a new solid and set it to also greenish blue, maybe a little more bluish than that. Blue, yeah. Set it to the background and go to Effect, Simulation, CC Starburst. And it will just, in Fringe, the intro, if you notice, there will be kind of some molecules coming towards the screen. And in Angel Creamer did the same molecule we created, probably in particular the blobs coming, but that will just take too much to render. And you can do that, you can just make a particular layer and set it towards the screen, and the particle will be custom, and you use this layer as a custom particle. But I think we can do it with those blobs. Now there's a problem, this is semi-transparent, so we can see the background. We can see the particles flying behind it, and we don't want that. So create a new black solid. Set it here. Set a mask, this size, and feather like 50. So yeah, and well, it's really simple. This was another short tutorial, but I hope it was useful, and I want to see people trying different things, different plugins, maybe I don't know, more amount of vector blur. I have seen lots of attempts with the Fringe blob molecule, and to be honest, I don't think this looks like the Fringe blob, and I don't think anything I have seen looks like the blob. But you know, each time we create something that looks like it, or that tries to look like it, we actually create something really cool too. Maybe that's not the Fringe blob, but it is kind of cool, and you can use it in many ways. I'm using the promo for Patterns of a Subliminal Train of Thought, which I'm probably going to show you right now. Okay, so that was it for the tutorial. I'll show you guys a way I use this blob in the intro, in the promo for Patterns of a Subliminal Train of Thought. Okay, so you can see the blob being used there, and I'll make the template for free available if you'd like to download later. But that's it. I think you guys have enjoyed the tutorial and you can come up with good solutions for the Fringe blob tutorial. See you next time.